I have two great tips that I want to share with you today if this has ever happened to you.
I was cutting out the wishing from the Delightful Wishes die set, and if you haven't seen this, holy cow, what a substantial set this is. And I love that there is a background and then there is a top for this. This is the background and then this is the top. And when I was cutting it out the first time, I lost my little eyes. Do you see where there is a place for both of the eyes on here? Let me just hold this so that you can see it and get it into camera. It's such a delicate die. I absolutely love this. I mean, it could be for so many things, not just for birthday. But those two little eyes went missing. And so I thought, how can I teach others some great tips for getting those eyes on there? And so I have two ideas that I want to share with you. The first one is to cut it through on your basic white cardstock, just like this. And then you're going to take the fine tip glue pen from Stampin' Up! And you are going to very carefully remove your lid, which you just twist it off, just like this. And there's a nice fine pin in here that goes back in here when you're not using it, so that it doesn't dry out. And then let's just see. Yep, see, it's already, I've got glue coming out, which is really awesome. Love that this constantly has that going. And then what you're going to do, and I'm going to try and do this without getting glue everywhere. You can come over here and just put a little dot of glue. Just watch out for the bubbles. Don't shake it. Just put a dot of glue where you want it. And try not to get the glue on the die. And if you do, you can wipe it off because it is a water-soluble glue. And then what we're going to do is turn the die over very carefully. And I'm going to grab my tweezers right here. I'm going to carefully pick this up. Let's do it carefully so we don't get glue where we don't want it. And since I didn't put glue down there, you're going to just come over here now and line up your die right onto the cutout. And then you're going to take your piercing tool from take your pick tool, and you're going to just press down on that. And with the help of the tool, just kind of poke it all the way through. You might have to line some of it back up if it gets out of place, but I can already see that my eyes got where they wanted, where they needed to. I'm going to just bring this back into camera so you can see it, and now I can go ahead and grab the rest of this. It still has a little bit of adhesive on it, which is great. So I'm just carefully using this tool to get it out, and then I'm going to pick up with my tweezers because it's in there pretty good. But since there still is adhesive on here, I'm confident that I'll be able to lay this down and get it to stick. Just like so. And then just kind of press it down. Just like that. And if you need to come back and adjust, and just kind of hold it there for a few seconds so that that glue can cure onto the cardstock. But there is one idea for attaching that. Now I'm going to show you my second idea. The first step is to go ahead and run your back through on the cardstock that you're going to use as the base. Sorry, I'm going to do this on camera so that you can quickly see that. Okay, so I've gone ahead and got the base done. Again, just take your pick tool to push that out once you've got it cut, just like that. For the top layer, we are now going to stick this onto some basic white cardstock, but before we do that, I'm going to use the adhesive sheets. I am obsessed with these. They are the perfect tool to use for this, and I want to make sure that the piece that I have cut has enough adhesive for it, especially to cover both of the dotted I's. I know that the H and the Y might not get fully covered, but that's okay. And so now what I'm doing is I'm just carefully removing the back of this. You can either use your nails or you can use a take your pick tool, but you'll notice that this is the sticky side and this is the top. And I'm going to put it right here in the center, and I may need to trim this off a little bit, and that's okay. I can actually stick this back onto that carrier sheet and use this for another project. So I'm going to just stick that back on here. This will be a good usable piece for something else. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn this over. This is really important that the sticky side is on the bottom. And now we are going to attach this with a piece of washi tape, masking tape. Just make sure that it covers it evenly. And now I'm going to run it through the die cut machine. I've already got my plates lined up. Let's get them layered the way they need to be. I'm going to stick that one right there and get my top plate there. And now I'm going to run it through and let the magic happen. Let's bring in the base. Whoops. Let's bring in the base. I'm going to get a little bit closer for you so you can see this. I'm going to carefully remove that washi tape, and sometimes it does stick onto the die, but that's all right. And now we're going to lay this right on top of the die. And if you have to, you can pick it up just to make sure that it's on there the way you want it to. And you are going to need to use your hands to guide this. And we're going to want to poke, well, actually before we do that, let's do this. We want to get these pieces that we don't need, which is like this piece right here. We don't need that, so you can poke that out right through there. And it should pop right out. And go ahead and remove that. This take your pick tool is such a helpful tool for this, and we don't need that piece. We don't need that one. Let's just kind of slide that out. And I think there's this little piece right here we don't need either, and you can always come behind here and just poke it through just like that. And then we also want to remove the backing of the adhesive sheet. So you want to carefully, do you see how let me try and get in view with, whoops, there we go. Do you see how I was lifting that piece right there off? We need to make sure we remove that piece. And we want to do that the same thing on the eyes, right? Because that was the whole purpose of doing this. So I'm going to carefully, let me just move those little pieces that came on. I'm going to carefully do the same thing with my eyes. You can see them. It's paper thin, that little piece. So just get those off, okay? You can see that one right there on the tip of my take your pick tool, right? Okay, now we're ready. So I'm going to carefully turn this back over. I'm going to get this lined up exactly where I want it, just like that. And then I'm going to just start taking the take your pick tool, and I'm just pressing down on these holes just to release the paper from the backing of the die. And if you have to, you can do it a couple of times and lift up on the die so that it does release. Just like so. And let's see what it looks like on the other end. Oh my goodness, this is brilliant. And yep, I forgot that little piece right here for the G, but that's okay. I'm gonna just take the take your pick tool and look at that. Oh my goodness, you guys, it's perfect. I hope this was a helpful tip. in learning some different ways that you can attach these really beautiful and intricate dies onto, well, the cutouts from the dies onto your cardstock. Thanks so much for joining me.
Remember to click that like button down below and leave a comment. I'd love to know your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching and continuing to support this channel. I appreciate you so much.